Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Happy 2024 to everybody out there. Thank you for joining me. Today, got the Jeep in the garage, got the heater going, and we're going to do some wiring. My heater shut off, so it's a good time to go ahead and record a little bit. Some of you guys that have a car in the garage that sits there all winter long with a battery tender hooked up to it and a cover on it, feel my pain right now. My woodworking tools lined up in the middle, which is going to make it a little challenging to get through here. And then the Jeep. Jeep is in between the lift, and we're going to work on that thing today. Do some wiring and kind of show you guys where I thought of to put the amplifier. Let's go in the Jeep. So I folded the seats down in my dirty Jeep so I can show you guys exactly what the plan is. If you remember, I showed you guys the sub enclosure that I designed on SketchUp, and it's going to go right along here. It's only going to be about 6 inches deep. Sub's going to be back in the same position, but it's going to give it a nice flow to it. As far as the amplifier goes, I went ahead and chose this spot. Now, one of the things that I'm going to do is there's going to be a cover over it. There's going to be a window. It's going to look a little bit nicer than just an amp mounted to the floor. However, it's going to be connected to the sub enclosure. It's going to have some beauty panels over it. But I wanted to keep it low enough to where I could still fold the Jeep down. And then if I needed to get something big in here, I could just go over the amplifier. Didn't want to put it on the back of the seat because I didn't want all the wiring kind of going through here. This is nice because I can just dip the wiring right underneath here. It can go underneath the carpet and we're good to go. The other thing I will not be doing is I will not be taking screws and blasting holes into the bottom of my Jeep to mount this thing. I'll be building a amp rack off of this seat bolt here, out of that plastic Menards stuff that I can't remember the name. Alrighty, folks, so here is the plastic material that I still can't remember the name that I used for the speaker adapters. So we're going to utilize that to create this amp rack. Maybe a little bit more challenging because if you guys haven't realized already, I got issues. And I bought a new to me used table saw because I wanted one. And now it created a whole new, let's rebuild the fab table. So I'm limited on some of the stuff that I have, but we'll figure it out. I can, however, utilize the other end of this table. And the plan is that I'm going to go ahead and mount the amp to this board and then use the seat bolt to mount this guy in the Jeep. I can wire tie wiring, kind of keep it around here, and then I can do the same. So I'm probably going to cut this a little bit longer, but I'm going to go in the Jeep right now with the board and take some measurements. I moved this party to the back of the Jeep right now, and one of the things that I can give anybody a piece of advice is have a plan. And, you know, one of the things that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look at your vehicle and look at your application and figure out where you're going to run wiring before you start mounting stuff. Because the last thing you need to do is go from the driver's side to the passenger side and to the passenger side to the driver's side. You're going to waste a lot of wire and a lot of time moving stuff around. So I know my battery is on the passenger side of my Jeep. So with the amplifier, I got power and ground connections on the passenger side. I also know that the amplifier is under the steering column on the driver's side. So all my speaker connections are going to go on the driver's side. Now, it just so happened to work out that this is going to be the correct way. But in certain applications, if you got to flip it around for your application, not the end of the world. Really just depends if you, whatever personal preference you have. This way it worked out because my OCD would have drove me crazy that the Precision Power logo would be upside down. So back out of the Jeep, and I want to show you guys where I'm at. So I marked the center of my amplifier, marked the center of my board, also marked where that seat bolt is going to come in contact with my amp rack. Now, one of the things that I did do is I put some tape on this black panel, so when I go ahead and make some marks on it, drill some holes, I can actually see what the heck I'm doing. Probably don't need to get this crazy with it, but This is just the way I work. So I figured I'd show you guys where I'm at right now. I went ahead and rough cut this panel, and I marked the hole where it's going to be for the seat bolt, and realistically folded the seats up so when I build that beauty cover for it, it's going to go right to the seat itself. And it's going to be centered. It is going to be very aesthetically pleasing. Got the holes marked for the amplifier. So let's try and true this up with the router table when I really don't have a router table. I figured I would save you guys the OSHA violation with my router table. I'll show you here in a second. But this is exactly what I'm going for. Took the 45-degree chamfer bit, ran it around here, rounded the corners on my amp rack. The bolt that holds my seat down is holding this thing down. So when this is all installed, it's not going to slide all over the place. Got some Allen nuts and bolts holding the amplifier down. And now I can start wiring this thing. Drywall screws holding my Jessam router lift over my garbage can and the cord hanging out here. Plugged it into to the switch, turned it on, and yeah. Then again, I still got all my fingers. So we're good. And this one's, nail's kind of growing back. Kind of goofy, but growing back. So I went ahead and pulled the amp rack out of the Jeep. Amp is mounted to the plastic board, whatever the hell it's called. And I'm going to go ahead and start wiring this thing on the bench. So I'm done with the input and output side of the amplifier, and I'm moving on to the power side. Now, one of the other things that I bought for this project is these guys, these little 4-gauge ferrules. In the past, I've shoved the wire right in there, cranked it down, and hoped for the best, but yeah, we're not doing that in this time around. So let's get this whole thing together. I think you guys will like it when it's all said and done. Amp rack is completed. As you can tell, all my wiring nice and neat and all spaced out evenly. I got my fronts, I got my rears, I got my sub lead, and then got a little bit of cloth tape here, and then to my speakers, and then the subwoofer ready to run in the Jeep. On the power side of the amplifier, I've got my 4-gauge in, power and ground. I drilled all these holes, and I had imagined to go ahead and pull it this way. Way too sharp of an angle. I didn't like that. I didn't like it at all. Put some cloth tape on here to hold it all together. And then I just did this. And, it is what it is. Unless I remake this and make it a few inches longer. But then again, you're not going to see any of this stuff. So I'm going to call it done. Let me know what you guys think. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me while I built this amp rack. Please stay tuned for part 2. And if you haven't done so, please hit that like button, subscribe button. Also, today is my big brother's 50th birthday. So, big brother Tone, happy birthday. Tried calling you, but you didn't answer. He actually has a channel called Z-Wings Workshop. It's kind of cool. Go check it out. Other than that, stay tuned for part 2. We're going to do some wiring in this Jeep and get this amp rack fully installed. So hope you guys enjoyed today. Let me know in the comments if you got any questions. Love to hear from you. Other than that, we'll see you next time.